Good morning. It's the beginning of July 2021, and I'm wanting to share some time with you about how the flower essence kits work so that if you choose to purchase one, you can use it to its full, beautiful potential. I'm speaking to you this morning from my garden, and it may be a little noisy because the birds are really happy today, chattering away in the background, but this felt like a beautiful and appropriate place to speak to you from. So, in my many years, 25 years of creating the Raven essences, I've been guided, nudged by nature at times to create kits of essences beyond the single flower essences that were what I originally created. And these kits each come with a theme. The theme was based on deep inner listening, and it would be presented to me as an idea. How about making something for support for the destiny path? And I thought, that's a big one. But I would always learn something through following um, through on that nudge. And it was as though the process and the essences themselves would teach me something that I did not know about what was vital to be aware of relative to our destiny at this time in our collective history. What I did learn through that specific one was that we can no longer hope to achieve a personal destiny without a sense of connection to the destiny of the earth itself. So that entire kit of seven essences revolves around that premise, the evolution and um, integration of your personal essence, destiny, in concert with the evolution of the earth. So the dynamics are wide with that one. Another kit called the Peaceful Warrior was created after September 11th, when I went out to my garden and said, what do I need to do? What can I do to help? And of course, everyone was so devastated with what had occurred, and the impulse was to go to war. But what I heard in the garden was, make a kit of essences to support the peaceful warrior. And again, through that process, I learned what a peaceful warrior, being a peaceful warrior, really means. And there are 4 steps, and the essences embody how to manifest a vision, how to have that focus, how to warrior for oneself through your own personal vision with love. So each kit has a theme, and it has teachings implied in the energies of the essences themselves. And that's articulated through the definitions and the accompanying information that is in the kit. Often there are meditative insights. The Destiny Kit is 30 pages long in its manual that accompanies the definitions. And other times I've accompanied the kit with a video, and the video portrays the essences in images and story, and sometimes with music. And that creating those has been absolute play for me. All of these experiences in creating the essences has been done within the imaginal realm. And let me say just briefly what this is. Our imagination is something that our culture has deeply lost touch with. We are taught what is real and what is imaginary. But I like to make the distinction that the imaginal world is real in and of itself. It is where our imagination interfaces with the soul of the world through the eye of our heart. And this is a form of perception and interaction with the world that allows us more than the facts, ma'am, but into a realm of playfulness, sensation, intuition, a deep body knowing. And in that way, we participate in the evolution of the earth. And I can think of nothing more important to do than to be involved in the imaginal realm in a grounded, heart-centered way at this time. So when you work with essences, your invitation is to enter that similar place and be active, open-hearted, and engaged in the imaginal realm of your own being. That's the invitation that the flower essences offer us, a portal into nature's heart. So that expectation or openness is very different than an allopathic, what can I do to take a flower essence that will ease my discomfort about this or that? And I know there are many, many people who have had excellent results in that way with working with flower essences, but that's never been the totality of my approach. My focus has been on deepening, expanding, embodying our innate relationship with the earth in a conscious way through our heart into the imaginal realm. And this is a process that restores not just ourselves, but restores and makes less lonely the earth in her expression too. So I'm going to give you some specific tips on how you can work with a flower essence kit, should you choose to purchase one, to get more effectiveness and range of expressive interaction with the essences. The first thing that you would want to do when you've chosen the kit that you feel compelled to work with is to set an intention. Now that immediately draws a line in the sand that says, this is what is my agreement with these energies in this bottle. I would like to address this in myself. And I'm going to read a couple of examples so you can see how specific the intention should be. The more specific you can be, the more you hold yourself accountable, and the more that you ask the essences to participate with you in that intention. For instance, you could say a broad one like, my intention is to be open more fully to life and to meet my fears with courage and compassion. You could say, I wish to be more grounded, open-hearted, and fully present as I enter this next phase of my life, and whether that's specifically around a career or a new relationship or a move to a new location or a new creative venture, you can make that specific as well. You may want to say something like this: to support me in listening to the wisdom of my body, and you could add, as part of the work of restoring the earth. During COVID times, this is a very helpful intention, perhaps, to hold myself with gentleness as I grieve the loss of my friend or my loved one. Any time that you create an intention and work with the essences, that focuses your agreement for that specific period of time, but it doesn't mean that that's the only way that the kit will serve you. In the future, should you be drawn to work with the kit again, you'd simply listen for the current intention and write that down, and the essences will respond in a completely different alchemical way to your new intention. Some of the kits are sequential, and by that I mean they have a beginning and an end built into their storyline. For instance, the Great Mother Kit, which is a kit, a very deep and profound kit working with the dark night of the soul, and it's a journey into the dark night, down to the underworld, and then returning back up. It's helpful with a kit like that, once you set your intention, to follow through on the protocol of the sequence. Another one that is sequential is the Destiny Kit. And the Peaceful Warrior, too, has 4 steps that are useful to follow. But once you've been through that, and you may decide, okay, I will work with each essence for a week, or I may work with each essence just for 3 days and then move on to the next one. Once you've done that, then you can begin to test randomly, what essence do I need today? And they will speak to you in a different fashion, mirroring where you are and helping you be more conscious of what is at play in your body soul at that time. So I'd like to demonstrate different ways that you can test. I trust the body's wisdom more than my head. And all of the work with testing for clients, I use muscle testing, which I do with my hand like this, and then my fingers through this. And I test, is this a yes? If it's a yes, the circuit that I've created holds firm. If it's a no, the circuit breaks. Now that takes a little time to develop that skill, and an easier way for people who don't use a pendulum or are familiar with muscle testing is to do something very simple, and I'll demonstrate this. If your essences are sitting in front of you and your kit, you might have 3 essences, that's the size of the Living Creatively kit, or 13 essences in a row, which is how many are in the Dream Quest kit. You can simply run your hand lightly over the top of the essences, about an inch above, and allow one finger. I use my middle finger. The pointer finger tends to get overworked, so I use my middle finger as a kind of a dowsing, and I gently go back and forth. So I'm just going to concentrate on this now. With the question, which essence do I need right now? And my hand is hovering almost as though it's being magnetically drawn to this one. So I trust that. And I take that essence. Now, for those of you that don't even know how to take an essence, you simply open the bottle, take a couple of drops, 2 or 3, on your tongue, and then sit quietly, breathing and being open to the energies of the essences as they interact with you. This is a form of etiquette that is really appropriate because the essences are created from and with the soul of the world. And you are bringing yourself in as much fullness and presence as you can to engage and open that portal between your body soul and the soul of the world through this specific portal, the essence that you've chosen. And if you rush and just take it like a vitamin, wouldn't you feel offended? Wouldn't the essence feel offended? So enjoy it like you would a friend. Sometimes I call the essences both healers and teachers, but the teaching is done through the language of sensation, through subtle shifts in your body soul as you sit and are aware of what is happening. It's important when you do a journey with a kit of essences over time to keep track of what's happening. You are going to witness your own journey. And if you don't, nobody else will notice. Well, they might, but it's delightful to actually keep track. Journaling is one way, and I think that's very valuable because as you look back over your notes, you'll see your own subtle shifts in more highlight than if you just try to remember, oh, what was that happened a week ago when I took that? So keep a few notes, and that will anchor your work more specifically. For some people, journaling is not their mode of doing that. So one way to anchor it could be through a simple sketch, or through some sounding, or through some movement. Anything that brings a deeper level of embodiment to the process is really, really helpful. But then maybe still a few notes afterwards. The last thing I'd like to take you into is a bit of a slideshow. And I'm going to pause this while I set up the slideshow here. No, I'll just do a screen share. Recently, I have found that it can be very helpful to change the definition from the third person into the first person reading of it. And I stumbled on this when I was working with a client, and I asked them to read the definition that had come up. And as they were reading it, I felt something was missing. So I said, would you mind starting again and change the language from the third person to the first person? So I'm going to read this one, the relationship essence from the Living Creatively kit. And you'll see how I translate this to the first person. This relationship essence helps me form a vibrant kinship with all forms of life on earth. By dissolving the artificial walls that separate me from nature, this essence helps me feel the universality of the life force animating my body and pulsing in the earth. In the midst of global distress, the relationship essence encourages compassionate empathy for all creatures and ecosystems, as well as my fellow human beings. Nurturing the elements in my world that I'm naturally drawn to, I joyfully play my co-creative role in the planet's evolutionary process, restoring beauty and harmony to my home. So you can feel the ownership that I am taking and the commitment that I'm making as I read the essence in that way. And now, to conclude this time, I'd like to take you through a few images that I've selected from various kits so that you have more of a sense of some of their magic. This is from the page in the online store, the Raven Essence online store, that has the list of themed kits outlined. And there are more down this list. I think I've created over 13 kits. And you'll see them under the Raven Essence kits. And when you click on them, each one will come up. When they come up, you can see the individual essences like this. And if you chose not to buy a kit, but you just wanted an individual essence, you have the option of purchasing a half-ounce bottle or a 1-ounce bottle. But when you buy the kit, I only sell them in half-ounce bottles. These are a couple of images from the Dream Quest kit, images by the artist Susan Boulay, who has passed away now. And I illustrated the different archetypal energies. There are 13 essences in this beautiful kit. And this is the image that went with the sacred clown. This is the peacemaker. And this is an image of a warrior, full of love, compassion, and strength. The Rose Garden kit has 9 essences in it, and they work with the chakras, starting with the earth chakra below our root chakra. And each essence helps to open that chakra more fully to the frequencies of love. So the frequencies of love in our root chakra and our second chakra are very different than our throat chakra and our brow chakra. But this helps us to be more consciously present in an embodied way to the frequencies of love. Rio Samba is the second chakra essence, and it reminds us of our potential and our true passions. So this again is from the video of that kit. Apricot nectar, which is the 6th chakra, strengthens our ability to receive love. Here's the heading for the Peaceful Warrior kit. And when you open up the section about the kit, it will have a link to a booklet. And the booklet is comes with the kit, but you can read it in its entirety by clicking on, in this case, you'd click here and it would take you to the PDF file of the whole manual. This is from the video of the Peaceful Warrior. She affirms the power of love as a force of creative change within us and our world. So starting from September, the horrors of September 11th, this is where this kit of essences took me in my understandings. Here is an example of a PDF file of the Great Mother Kit. And you can see that on the left are the pages, the various pages of the kit. So if you're not sure whether this is the right kit for you and you don't trust your testing, go to read the file and you'll know more certainly whether this is a kit for you. This is from the video, A Soul Journey into the Dark Night. And this was the first image I chose of the Great Mother, a fearsome force that greets us when we often are in times of underworld, which collectively we are in right now. And we cannot run away from this into fantasy, into wishful thinking or desires to be back to normal. This is an initiatory time where we have to meet this aspect of the world soul in the darkness and allow an initiation, a transformation to occur. It is a winding path with no predictable outcome. But this is the heart of the matter, the lotus. And that's where the transformation in the story takes place. So I'm going to conclude now just with deep appreciation for you taking the time to listen to this and my delight to share my work, these 25 years of life-changing, soul-opening work in the imaginal realm. And if you're drawn to enjoy this with me, I would love to meet you there. Thank you.